In this quick tutorial, we will show you how to use CoreMelt SliceX for removing rigs and unwanted background elements. In this case, we have a motion-controlled shot of a miniature muscle car suspended from above and to the rear with a locked-off camera. The source clip here was shot in 4K in slow motion, providing lots of flexibility for reframing and retiming. I have already speed warped the footage to match the timings we were looking for, and then pre-rendered the result to a 1080p ProRes 422 master clip. First step that we need to do is to create the backplate. So we move to a portion of our footage where there's a clear frame, hit Shift H to enable hold frame, and then use the time remap handles to drag it out to the length we want. Now we drag this below the main clip. So our main strategy here is that we want to forget about the rig and work on tracking the subject. This doesn't work in every situation, but in the case of this shot, we can focus our energy on the main subject, tracking and animating our mask to focus on the areas where the rig and our car model intersect. For complex rigs with a lot of perspective change, sometimes we will need 2 or more passes. In this case, it is simple enough to do with 1 because of how the shot was created and the position and size of the rig. Alright, so getting ready to set up our track shape. Go ahead and add the Shape Mask Layer Effect plugin. Draw a simple shape which includes specific detail and contrast. Avoid areas that cross over other complex parts of the scene. A couple of quick tips. Stay inside the boundaries. This will prevent the tracker from getting confused by parallax or distracting scene elements. Look for areas of detail, contrast, texture on a single plane without too much parallax shift. This will give us our best tracking result. Once the main tracking shape is drawn, let's track it. I will start the track somewhere in the middle, as our car model is off screen at both the beginning and the end. Also, you will almost always get better results tracking from a time where the subject is large in the frame to where it is smaller, rather than the other way around. For this shot, we'll track forwards and then backwards. The order actually doesn't matter, it's completely up to you what feels more natural. Okay, now we need to take care of the beginning and the end of the shot where our car goes off the screen. Go to the last good frame of the forward track and set a keyframe for Effects, Shape Mask Layer, Position. Now jump forward to where the entire car should be off of the screen. Turn off the Shape Mask Layer effect temporarily to show the entire car, and adjust the Shape Mask Layer position. Add a keyframe after the entire car has cleared the screen, rear tires and all. Adjust the Y position for the Shape Mask Layer. Tweak the keyframe until it feels right, and we're off to the next step. As stated before, the final mask shape will be much different from the tracking shape. So the first bit of shopkeeping we need to do is to make sure that if anything goes wrong, we can go back to our awesome, successful track and off-screen keyframes. We can either duplicate the project as a project, or we can duplicate project as snapshot, which will also preserve all of the associated synchronized clips, multicam clips, compound clips, audio mixes, etc. at that point in time. Now that the tracking and keyframing are done, we can focus on adjusting the mask shape to fit the final composite. Make sure that the keyframe enable option is clicked in the SliceX interface. Be careful to only click the yellow shape vertices. Be very careful not to accidentally click the blue transform handles. If you do accidentally move the transform handles, immediately Command Z to undo and try it again. Or you could find yourself working double time animating the shape points to compensate for the transform movement. Okay, so first things first, go ahead and drag the outermost parts until the entire outline of the car is shown. This way we can see the transition area easily while we work. The process now is to get a clean edge along the top of the car to eliminate the mounting rig. In this case, we only need to worry about the support arm and more specifically the blue taped area where it crosses behind our car. We then need to adjust the shape by adding points as necessary and tweaking the position and interpolation values of those points to match the outline of the top edge of the car. To add a point, place the mouse cursor over the shape outline and left click. Hold the Shift key to break the tangent. To change a point's interpolation, Alt or Option left click on the point and choose whether you want to change the incoming or outgoing curve. To delete a point, Alt or Option left click and choose Delete. We now want to add shape keyframes at several places along the timeline, adjusting the shape vertices to follow the roofline of the car eliminating the blue mount point. Pay close attention to how the silhouette of the roof and hood shift drastically as the perspective changes the further from the lens we get. It sometimes helps to drag the top points much further than you think is needed to get a clear view of where the roof line actually ends up. Again, it is good practice to add a marker at each frame that you make adjustments. This can make troubleshooting and navigation much easier as you work. As with most animation, the ideal workflow is to use as few keyframes as possible, so the software can handle the smooth interpolation between them. Only add as many intermediate shaped keyframes as is necessary to eliminate the blue mount point. The key is to focus on eliminating distractions during playback more than making a pixel-perfect result on each frame. Be careful to only adjust the shape on the keyframes created before to preserve your previous timings. Since the mask we are using here is really only critical along the top edge, we should be able to deal with the increasing blur easily as the car goes out of focus by animating the shape softness of the shape layer mask. Once we get all these keyframes and the softness dialed in, play back through the footage several times with a critical eye on maintaining smoothness across the shot. These techniques can be used for live action footage as well, such as pulling or pushing actors or props, or yanking them around with ropes for stunts, or when you might want to remove something distracting from a vehicle or a building, or replace another part of the background. A great way to learn new techniques is to practice with some new subject matter. It adds to the fun and can be done inexpensively. I've demonstrated here how to work with a lockdown camera for rig removal using a motion-controlled setup of a car model. There are also lots of fun, imaginative ways to leverage simple rig removal techniques to create otherwise impossible shots. Download the free trial of SliceX today and try it out yourself.